Yo, what's up? What's going on, guys? Hello, y'alls. Hello, y'alls. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, let's get the troops. Get the troops.
What's up? What's up, Ghost? What's up, Rissa? Samantha? I'm practicing tattooing while I listen. Oh, shit. That's kind of dope. I do tattoo removal. Oh my god. That's too funny. I need some. I would love some tattoo removal. I got way too many of them tattoos. I got way too many of them tattoos. We're nationwide? Oh, snap. Someone says, show us. Yeah. I have both sleeves. I want I want this ditch tattoo removal, and I have my whole chest done. And I have most of one of my legs done. Thanks, Samantha. I love geometric too. Chat, let's tap the screen. Let's get to 10K real quick. Let's get some people. Let's get some people in here to debate. Do I know anything about Parker? I know I'm mutuals with him now. Like today, or what? Why is Parker silent on everything? I don't know. You haven't seen him since Sunday. Was it Sunday when we did that live? I was on a live with Dean and Parker and a few others, and he was like backseat. I, I don't know. Was that was Sunday? Okay, probably just needs a break. Yeah, there's a lot of drama going on, and I'm trying to do my best to avoid it. It's there's just more and more coming out too. I'm so lucky that I somehow have not caught any strays. Huge distraction. I agree. Like seven things happened like today, probably that are far more important than that stupid drama that's come up this week. Someone said there was drama. I so much enjoy all of you when I've learned, but you seem to be the most mellow. Appreciate it, cool. I saw that, Jason. Kaylee says, "How tall are you?" I'm 6'4". I'm a tall one. No Rats needs to lift them up a little bit. Let's help their kids. No Rads needs to give me a follow back. She needs to give me a follow back. I agree. Jaden's he's got a great voice. Yellow,
How you doing, buddy?
doing good. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yep. You already know me, man. We've talked before. What you talking about?
I talk to too many people. They all blur together.
Well, I'm the one. I think you called me a. I can't remember. Something about an anarchy or something. An anarchist. ANCAP or something. You
Anarcho-capitalist?
told me. No, I don't. I don't like capitalism. That's why I want Trump to destroy it.
Okay, so
Reset.
you're an accelerationist or something?
No, I just. You see the problem that we're living in, and the only solution is to burn it down. So I'm an anarchist. Yeah, put it that way.
I don't think
You
it's
know
going to
what?
burn down. I think it's just going to be shaped into something with less freedom.
For sure, for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. You want to make an omelet. You got to break some eggs, but this capitalism and corporatism is entrenched in our society and our government, and the only way to get it out is to do like radical stuff that's like happening now. And it's like the reality you're in, whether you like it or not.
I don't think you're going to get any closer to your goal of eradicating capitalism. I think we're going to go into like end stage horrible version of capitalism here soon. And I don't think anything in your lifetime is going to change besides maybe the wealth gap and your freedom. That's all I think is going to happen. I don't think this is going to turn into some great situation where we all discover socialism and communism and sing kumbaya and
No,
everyone's
no, no,
lifted out
not
of
at all. What
capitalism.
happens? This is what happens, and I'm going to tell you, and you're going to watch it happen, and there's nothing you can do to stop it because it's too late. It's in there. So, here in about a month, the shelves will be empty.
Hmm.
And that's when people start burning stuff down. Once you start burning down things, you start from scratch.
I mean, some people might burn things down and get arrested, but I don't think we're going to be like
Oh no,
burning
they're not
down
going to
any of the
arrest them.
government.
No, you do not listen. People are crazy. Most people, like you see what happened in the LA riots or in Detroit. I mean, people just do whatever they want. Like you, everybody thinks that the government or the police can control our society. It's the farthest thing from the truth. Two or three people with airplanes can take down skyscrapers. You know what I mean? The power of the individual is like way more than they want you to realize or know. Anyway, once the food's gone and people are struggling, the crime rate's going to skyrocket. Your property isn't going to matter.
And Trump is
And we
going to use the
reset.
military to enforce martial law, and
Of course.
and then
Well,
he's going to be secured into office for however long that lasts.
truthfully, just like if you look back in the late 30s or early 30s, the Reichstag burned down. There's going to be an event, and he's going to do whatever he's going to do.
I don't know if this is what I want to cheer on. I honestly don't think any rational person would vote for Trump and like thinking this is their end game.
Well, no, I mean, I was watching the society and capitalism and what it was doing to us as a people. We lost our humanity because of it. It was,
You're the one cheering for people to burn shit down.
hold on a minute. This is the end result of that. We cannot live in a society where it's ego based, winner take all, and then expect to not be in a place where we're burning down everything and people are dying. Right? like I sit here and watch you speak every day, and it's like a soliloquy to how great it was before Trump, and it was terrible before Trump. It was only getting worse.
I am not reminiscent on what it was like before Trump. I mean, before this 100 days, yeah, it was a lot calmer, but I don't dwell on the past. I don't want to go back.
This is the
I
change
feel
we
like
needed.
progressivism is completely opposite of going backwards. I feel like we could make change, forward change, not recessive change.
You give the human species too much credit, my friend.
I think you
We are
have,
like
I don't know. I feel
herd
like you have
mentality.
like your end result of how this is going to end is so targeted and so arbitrary from what I think is going to actually happen, or what
Really,
probably is going to happen, that I just think it's silly.
sir, may I just say this? I've noticed that history repeats itself. And what I'm saying is going to happen has happened time and time and time again. It sucks, but we lost our humanity. Like, the only way to change is to have humanity and care for each other. The system of economics we've had doesn't do that. It's winner take all. We've dehumanized people for profit, and this is the end result of that. This is not about how you feel or cult of personality. It's just this is the cancer that capitalism and corporatism created. And it's only going to get worse. It's been getting worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you're going to convince anybody this is the right move.
It's too late. The move's already been made. I'm curious, like as if we could change it in any way. What could we do?
Midterms, uh, even before the midterms, if the economy gets so bad, no matter how much pressure Trump might be putting on Congress, they might turn around and impeach him. Even the conservatives saying like, "You're making a fucking fool out of yourself. You're ruining the economy."
Okay. In a perfect world, yeah, man. But you ever heard the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? Here we are again. Here you are again going, well, government is the solution to our problems. We could just vote what we want and get change, right? Just like Obama and that change. That was a man. Come on, you're smarter than that.
You're just catastrophizing everything. Everything was pretty chill 100 days ago.
For some people,
Pretty
it was.
chill.
Obviously, for you, it was. But there's a lot of Americans suffering, buddy, that don't have the same
Yeah,
perspective
and
as
you're
you.
and you're cheering for more of that.
Well, I'm identifying it, and I'm seeing it for what it is. Like I remember when Barack Obama was president, and a guy showed up at the Capitol and shot himself and said it was because of capitalism. We have children starving in this country, right? If you really look at how we're doing economically and socially, it's terrible. It's been terrible. Like if you have the view it was better before, we could fix it. No, it wasn't better before. It's been getting worse. There's horror stories. The drug epidemic, it's just nuts.
Yeah, I literally don't think like this. There's no whatever path we're on is it's not a path to whatever your think is going to happen. It's going to be worse, and you're cheering on for things to get worse in every regard you're complaining about.
Well, I'll say it like this. And this is why I have hope for the future. Without this change, without these bad things happening, okay, so in war, when bad things happen, human beings experience, and guess what happened? What happens every time? They gain humanity. Like World War II, all these our hero generation experienced it. They smelled the bodies, they witnessed war, and they said it was hell. These people came back from war, and they were our leaders, our mayors, and guess what? We had a lot of humanity in our politics and the way that we ran society. But guess what's happened? That generation has died off, and we've forgotten. We've lost our humanity.
Yeah, we
Like
don't need to
we're
do this every 60 years. I think that's crazy.
Well,
That's
I
too much.
agree, but
Too
do you
much.
really think our species is gonna smarten up? We have to see
I
the
don't know.
depth. We
You're not
have to
giving me
smell the
hope there,
box.
but yeah, I do. I think we'll smarten up. We are by far smarter than our ancestors. The average person intakes way more information. We have access to way more tools. We have the
I
internet.
just heard a
We're
story.
much more efficient as a society than we were 50 years ago. We're
Absolutely.
much more socially developed.
Sure.
We're starting to treat people like women, people in the LGBTQ. Some of us are starting to treat them a little bit better. I think that all you can do is uh, catastrophize and draw, I don't know,
So
not very good
I'm
similarities
not
to
going to
these two
agree that
things.
I'm catastrophizing. I'm just a realist, man. Uh, I hope for the best, but here's the thing. Once we get through the trials and tribulations, we're going to come out of the other side with a renewed, moral of humanity to where we're going to want to take care of each other. We're going to say, no, we have to take care of each other because we don't have that now. Everybody's on their own. Nobody really cares. I mean, look at our president is a prime example of just nobody matters. It's all about me, right? That's everybody in our society's like that now. Capitalism has shaped us to be that way. It's competition, winner take all. And
Yeah.
guess where we're at? We have a dictator basically who's taking away rights, doing what he wants. The guy locked up judges. Do you lock up a judge? Like how do you? It's getting to where, and it's only going to get worse. Like I said, there'll be a Reichstag moment, and then he'll declare martial law. Especially, it's coming because once these shelves go empty, this is when people start having problems. Like I thought it was funny. I was listening to a documentary and Putin was speaking, and he was talking about the fall of communism, and he said, "You could take away people's food, but don't take away their cigarettes. That's when they really get mad." Like Putin was actually saying, "You can take their food, don't take their cigarettes." So,
Well, Donald, I'm looking for a good debate. I appreciate you coming up.
hey man, I always like talking to you, man.
Yeah, take it easy, dude.
Keep kicking ass.
We'll do.
Later.
Federal worker here, stressed. Oof. Yep, 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 yep. Are you gonna say something or what? I don't want to entertain some of that rhetoric. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Pickles, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
But, but what about Joe Biden?
Oh no, I want to play my freaking horn, dude. I want you to see my giant dude. I want a horn off a marketplace. Turn the video on. How do I turn the video on? Hang on. Wait, hold up. Sample. Oh damn. Hang on.
Hello.
What's up, bro?
Hi. I was here a few days ago. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you remember. Yeah. Do you remember
Yeah.
or not? Yeah. And I was paid to get kicked off. And the reason I'm back is because you said one interesting thing. You said that sex was bimodal, which
Bimodal.
it's which is a false liberal view, just to justify. It's used to justify your madness. So I'll tell you why it's a harmful view. because what you're saying is so male characteristics, right? What you're suggesting when you say that sex is bimodal is that when a male has, let's say, less facial hair, they're less of a male. Yeah, yeah, and it's been debunked. That's that idea. It's been debunked.
This is being
People
debunked.
people have different opinion. Yeah, you can go on Google. You know, AI is based off of different websites. It gets information from different websites. Um, but when you suggest that sex is primordial, what you're suggesting is that having like if you have like as a male, if you have a condition where you have larger breasts, that makes you less of a male. That's what you're suggesting.
No,
You're
I'm not.
suggesting that if you're short, you're less
It's
of a
not true
male.
either. No, that's not how we're
That's what you're
gauging who's a
suggesting.
male and who's not.
That's what you're suggesting when you say sex is
It's
bimodal
not.
because
It's not
you're
true.
either male or female.
That's not what I'm suggesting. You're using the wrong like examples. So we could talk about different chromosome, the 23rd chromosome. We could talk about the variants in that. Melanie with the $40.
Yeah, we can talk
Pronouns
about intersex.
bimodal. Dude, hey, I appreciate you coming up, but you were already kicked. It took you, dude. Bro, speed running. It's been a minute and 47 seconds. But thank you, Melanie, for the kick. But whoever says I'm getting cooked, I literally just proved him wrong in 10 seconds. It's on the screen. Sex is bimodal. It's a bimodal distribution. Chromosomes play into this, not height, not hair, not facial hair. We could also talk about genitalia. There's all sorts of variants in which we can look at sex and how it's not just A or B. There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's so many different variants of the two sexes that it is a bimodal distribution. And we can go through this one by one. We can talk about gametes. We can talk about all sorts of things. And that's why it's bimodal. It's ridiculous for him to strawman it with height.
Hi.
Hello.
So I wanted to ask you about how do you feel like about abortion that is been doing like above 12 weeks?
Are you pro-life?
No, I'm pro-choice, but I'm just asking because it's I'm half American, half Polish, and it's really really exhausting what is going on in Polish right now. And
So are
I
you
just
arguing for or against women's rights to have abortion? You say you're pro-choice, but
I mean, I'm
sounds like
pro-choice. I think
I would agree with you.
everyone should have like right to do an abortion, but
I'm sorry, guys. If you're friendly, my moderators will kick you. Nobody wants to hear me agree with somebody, but in short, I've honestly I usually let a woman come up and debate pro-choice, pro-life debates, but my beliefs are that women should have the ability to have elective abortions all 9 months. We should keep our fucking noses out of their business. We should trust women. Nobody's having, carrying a baby to 8 months, 9 months, and then randomly unaliving it because they had a change of heart or a bad dream. Nobody's doing that. It's always a difficult decision. Mind your own business. Mind your own damn business, as Tim Walls would say. Why can't you debate me? Just doing it right. It's dude, I run a thing, and if someone pays me money to kick you, you got to come back the next day. I'm sorry. I miss Walls too. That's my governor. Damn, I'm so jealous. In Poland, it's pretty hard right now. I just wanted to say that. Nika, I'm so sorry, and I wish you luck. I hope you're okay out there. Yeah, Tim Walz is a badass. Tim Walz is a badass. He's on Midas Touch tonight? Oh my god. Didn't you make my coffee the other day? What if I did? Was it good? Oh, it's now on YouTube? I would stream it, but it would probably flag me for doing that. I am live on YouTube right now, by the way, chat. If you give me a follow on YouTube, it's where I'll be if this app ever disappears, guys. I'm also trying to get members. I have memberships now on YouTube and super chats. If you guys enjoying watching there more than here, I have the chat on the screen so you guys can read TikTok chat while you're there. In Poland, you have like another Trump. Fucking A, that sucks. How much to come back up? Chat. Melanie, actually, would you allow him to come back up if he paid? Sid, thank you so much for becoming a member on YouTube. Racist is $100. $100? $10K to Lakin? Ooh, that's right. Does he owe Lakin $100 or $1,000? Lakin says 10K. Damn, dude. $100 donation to Planned Parenthood. That would be sick. Although, if you're good at Photoshop, he could fake that. Now, I'll only do it if Melanie says it's okay. And Melanie, I'm not sure what your username is here. He can come up for double. Okay, so hey, if you donate $80 just doing it right, you can come. Is what Melanie says. Did I patent this because it's first I've heard of it? It's sweet. If you pay $80, you can come back up just doing it right. Make sure it's not pounds. Yellow?
Talk some more liberal bullshit up here all day long. You dumb little dweeb with stupid little glasses and think make you look smart.
Hey now, it's not nice. It's not nice. I feel like I look very smart in these glasses.
I don't think you quite know shit about this country, what it's made for and what it stands on. You say Trump sucks, you better turn around and look at yourself in the damn mirror. You suck.
There's no mirror back there, dude.
Go get one.
What you got?
You
You got a
gonna
water bottle?
educate me since you're so smart, Mr. Glasses guy? You know everything about Trump and how good he is? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Educate me, buddy. Why'd you such a bad guy? You don't quite seem to know, do you? You just like to come up here and spread bullshit all day long, not talk about nothing.
Oh, I talk about stuff. But I just don't know if you're a troll or not. I think you're a troll, MAGA. I love you, though. I'm gonna get someone else.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you rather have your dad walk in on you fucking your dog, or your dog walking in on you fucking your dad?
That's it's a hard one. Is this what you sit around and think about? This is this was probably a very deep thought he had, guys. Give him credit. I get it, it's funny because it's gross. Just doing it right. Hey, I'm waiting for that donation, bro. You know where my link tree is, guys. The link tree's in the bio. Chat also, let's get to 50 key likes real quick. Tap the screen. We can get a few more viewers in here so we don't have to I don't have to look at just doing it right sitting in my guest box all night. Let me back up. I have a real debate, Brad. You're just gonna have to sit tight, bud. You should have thought it. You should have thought past your nose. Brad says I feel so attacked. I'm sorry, bro. Does Trump hurt my feelings? I can't see how, like, these people don't see how illogical or irrational they are. Their anger gets a hold of them, or their masculinity gets a hold of them, and they don't think properly. They have to sit here. Some of these people hate watch me, and they just pray that somebody comes up and proves me wrong on something. And I've seen some of y'all for weeks. And I'm gonna assume you still haven't seen anybody come up here and prove me wrong. The world proves me wrong every day. Okay. Guys, the rules are the rules. Somebody paid to kick him. I'm not bringing him up. Maybe please, you're running with... Guys, this is the format of my show. This is the format of my show. Also, don't forget to give me a follow if you enjoy debates. Delete the kickbox. Can't do that. Can't do that. No takesies, backsies. No takesies, backsies. Melanie, Melanie says that she'll pay the money for you to come back up, but you have to say that you're a baby bitch in the comments. Oof. Yeah, Trump's got an 80-year low on approval rating, chat. It's not really helping y'all's cause. Not really helping. Melanie is a boss. Melanie can't afford to bring me back up. Test her out. Test it, just doing it. Test her out. It's called a squat when you sit down to pee. Guys, I do sit down to pee. Sometimes I just hit the bidet. I turn it on for like a full 30 seconds before I pee sitting down. If you haven't done it, you haven't lived life. What do I gotta say? Guys, I really feel bad for Melanie. I'm not gonna make her do that. Somebody, Melanie, you can respond to him and say what he's got to say, but I really don't want to push it. I was hoping we were gonna get on the bidet. Tourism's 10% of our GDP, and now it's almost 0. We have 11% dip in tourism. This is what I keep reading. I keep repeating for you guys. You need to say it in the guest box? All right.
You guys are so childish. It is embarrassing.
You have to say it, all right? You ready? You have to say it.
Yeah, what do I gotta say? Come on.
You have to say, I'm a baby back bitch.
How much do I have to pay not to say that?
$80.
80 bucks. 80 bucks. Apparently I owe Lakin $10,000.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
So,
you're good at paying your debts. Sounds like you're a standard Trumper.
Yeah, standard Trumper. I don't think you know how to have a debate. That's why you're using money to run away from me. Like, if you got rid of this box, this kick me box, you would lose every single debate.
Boom. $40 to kick. Thank you, Laney. Big shout out to Laney, guys. W Laney's in the chat. Oof. Oof. That's rough, chat. That's real rough. He's having a hell of a go at it, dude. Okay, guys. If you find yourself getting kicked and you want someone so badly to hear what you're saying, just start a live. Go live, dude. Go live. Now it's 160 to join back. Trumpers in YouTube, if you want to come debate me, you're welcome to come to my TikTok and join the guest box. Go on, get. Go on, get. You're not welcome here. Go on and get. You were paid to kick twice. YouTube MAGAs are weird. Yeah, I know. They're insane. Shall we go through the news? We'll go through the news, guys. I've got deep news. All right. Pakistan warns of possible Indian strike within 36 hours, viles decisive response. Now, Trump claims 99.9% success rate in stopping illegal border crossings over 100 days, declares the most secure border ever. Trump ousts Biden appointees, including Doug Emhoff from HCOST Memorial Council. What a fucking prick, dude. From the HCOST Memorial Council, he's being so political. It's insane, dude. When you're kicking people off of the H Costs Memorial Council for political reasons, you're just a straight up piece of shit. Trump administration eyes government to government AI chip deals. Nvidia shares rise 0.5%. Oh my god, what? Trump launches Golden Dome missile defense shield in Michigan with $1 trillion defense investment? $1 trillion? President Trump has announced the initiation of Golden Dome defense. Why Michigan? Because of Canada? Aimed at protecting the United States from missile attacks, Trump signed an executive order to begin construction on this product. How do you do that without dude? Can you just pass one thing through Congress, MAGA? MAGA, can you pass one thing? Is he literally? How do you spend money with an EO? Can you do one thing through Congress? The Golden Dome initiative is part of a broader plan to bolster national defense, with Trump supporting record $1 trillion investment in defense spending. This investment is intended to strengthen U.S. military to make it stronger and greater than ever before. Trump humorously engaged with an audience during a speech, suggesting the name Golden Dome. Dude, he's so tacky. Everything, he shits on a gold toilet. He has gaudy, like, golden decorations everywhere in the Oval Office. It's giving very, it's very, like, Putin-esque. It's very dictator-esque. Like the movie Dictator, where he's got, like, a golden Uzi and shit. The project also connects to Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, known as the Golden Dome and Missile Defense Shield in Golden State. Woof. $1 trillion? Guys, don't worry. We're gonna balance the budget right after we're finished spending $5.5 trillion in 100 days. $5.5 trillion. In 4 years, Biden spent 4.4. In 100 days, Trump has spent $5.5 trillion. Good shit. Good shit, MAGA. You guys are just really proven to be the party of fiscal responsibility. You guys are killing it, guys. But my deficits. We're gonna be a 7th bankruptcy. Yeah. But my deficits. You better look that up again, because Joe spent 8 from what I saw the other day. Not true. Joe Biden approved $4.4 trillion, 2.2 in non-COVID spending. I think it's 4.3. Guys, I need a new headset pretty bad. I have one on my wish list in my link tree, but this is the 3rd time I've changed the battery. Something's going on. 3rd time today. Test. We're good. We're good. You don't. Thank you so much, Michael. You're fucking awesome. It's not that I just need new batteries, but even if I were to just tap my headphone like this, it would turn off, and I would have to, like, jiggle the battery to make it come back on. You prophesized it. I know. I need to buy the headphones before the fucking tariff. Wait, Trump spent 5.4. Trump spent 8.6 trillion or 8.3 trillion. But 4.5 trillion was the continued resolution budget that they're trying to pass, and 1 trillion somehow with an executive order for a Golden Dome in Michigan for a Golden Dome. They used to call that the Iron Dome missile defense shield, but of course Trump's tacky motherfucking ass has to call it the Golden Dome missile defense. Get some Bose headphones. 8.6 might be right. Reagan placed 381 executive orders his first entire term. Trump in his current term is over 160 already. Woof. These are not Bluetooth, for the record. Whoever just said something. These are actually, they're over Wi-Fi. Guys, if you want to debate, hop into my TikTok and actually I can put up the phone number. Should we just do the phone number, chat? I think that's what I'll do. All right. There's the phone number to call in. If you guys want to call in, the line is open. The line is open. Pixie Fairy, I agree. Curtis Yarvin is the most terrifying idea I think about. Or has the most terrifying ideologies. I had a Curtis Yarvin sycophant come into my live the other day and use the words. He called me. I have a phobia to dictatorships. So you have a phobia to dictatorships. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a healthy fear too. Yo, just doing it right. It seems like you got to pay up to Lakin. It seems like you got to make that right. Yellow, are you a Trump supporter?
I am.
Yeah. What do you like about Trump?
What do I like about him?
Yeah.
Well, he's a keeper of promises, that's for sure.
So groceries, gas, eggs down on day one. What happened to that? Fixing the solving the wars, stopping the wars, day one, 24 hours to be exact.
Okay, you know how he talks. Like, come on, you don't take all this stuff serious.
So we're not supposed to trust what he says.
No, his art of the deal. It's what does he call it? I mean, it's all literally right there.
So let's go by his first administration. He was going to make Mexico pay for the wall. That didn't happen. He was going to write an alternative for the ACA. That never happened. It's been 10 years. He still hasn't done that. He said he was going to pass an infrastructure.
Made off of the Mexican trade deal?
He said he was going to pass an infrastructure bill. Never did that. He golfed almost 200 times. Why do you think he's a man who keeps his promises?
Bro, he was obstructed his entire
He can't
first
govern, is
term.
what you're saying?
What are
He,
you talking?
he
Have you
can,
ever seen a president get investigated by all this nonsense
that doesn't
for an
stop you from
entire term?
governing.
You act like that's no. Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. The dude was literally getting investigated for the same thing Biden was doing with the classified information. Was he not?
It was no, he was withholding. He was charged with withholding classified information. So when the government asked for it, he wouldn't give it back. When Biden found out he had it, he called them and said, "Hey, take a look around, see if I have anything else."
They wouldn't let him have it in the archives.
Who? Nora
Whoever
called.
handles the classified, yeah, whatever they're called.
Nara called Trump and harassed him for a year and a half to give back the classified documents. And then we have audio tape of Trump showing those classified documents off to a reporter and saying that they're classified and that he couldn't declassify
Yeah,
them
it
now
just
because
so
he wasn't
happens to be
president.
recording the whole thing.
Yeah,
that don't reek of
they were
nonsense,
literally
does it?
There were literally reporters, yes, recording him.
They're secretly recording his conversation to then give it to the media. Where have we seen that his entire first term with all the leakers? Where'd you see? There was no leakers for Biden's administration, was there? There was nothing going on there. And the
No,
media
it
completely
just
silent. You want to act like that
just so
Trump's this
happens
terrible dude? Are you kidding me?
it
Did
just
you
so
see
happens
Biden?
that Biden's clean, I guess, right?
That he's clean? No,
Yeah.
he's the one that actually had classified information as a senator, which is actually illegal.
No, that happens. Senators do get classified information, bro. What?
It's not legal. It's called the Presidential what is it called? The Presidential Records Act?
Okay,
Clear
Presidential Records
as day.
Act has nothing to do with classified information, bro.
Yes, it does.
No, it basically says that presidents have access to documents, that they are entitled to access to documents throughout their presidency, but all of those things are property of the government.
It's that the president is the one that declassifies the documents. That's what it says.
Yeah, there is a process to declassify things, and Trump did not go through that process.
So you're saying the president of the United States is not the person who declassifies, who decides what's classified and declassified?
I don't think you heard what I said.
At the highest clearance in the
He
land.
can declassify things, but there's a process. He can't just think it and snap his fingers. In fact,
Well, it's the same
he
thing
himself
as saying
admitted that.
He himself admitted what?
He admitted that since the classified documents that he was holding in the audio, that he could not declassify them now that he's not president.
Okay. I mean, I don't really care about that stupid audio tape. I really don't. I didn't go and go, oh my God, look, they caught him. Give me, like, come on, give me a break.
Literally, the
what
most
even is
damning
that?
evidence ever. You're just going to choose to ignore it.
Okay, the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago because they had to. I mean, the judge, did you see all those cases? Those cases were complete and utter nonsense. You tell me Mar-a-Lago
I highly doubt any. I've yet to speak to anybody that voted MAGA that knows anything about the cases. To be honest, I do know.
I'll tell you right now, the case. The judge claiming that Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million. You think that's legit?
That's what the taxes say. That's what he claims, bro.
No. The taxes do not say $18 million.
Yes,
I watched
they
the
do.
whole thing. The whole case.
You probably
Robert
don't know anything
Gouveia.
about that case. Honestly, it sounds like.
I watched Robert Gouveia. He covered the whole thing. He's an attorney. You can watch him. He covered the entire case.
Is Mar-a-Lago a residence or a special type of property?
Pretty sure it's a residence.
No, it's not. It's specially zoned and it's historical too. It cannot be ever sold to somebody and reshaped into any sort of business or residency. And you also have to take into account the cost to maintain it when you're talking about something like that. So yes, the property itself is roughly worth around $24 million.
It was like the equivalent of $100 million in just building costs. Where do you get that? That the properties were $24 million?
Specially zoned, yes. It's special zoned. He did all sorts of things to get tax breaks on it. His dead fucking wife is buried somewhere on it. Nobody's gonna buy that property, dude.
Who's saying anybody going to buy the property? Who would want to buy that? Who would want to sell
price
that
is
property?
based on market value, and its market value is fucking nothing.
That's wild.
It's not
That's
wild.
wild.
It's basically the truth.
That it's worth $24 million.
Yeah.
That giant mansion, you believe that in that location? That just makes sense to you. The court
Yeah,
case was
yeah.
supposed to be
I can get a
tried in
bigger.
a
I can get a
commercial
bigger
court.
mansion
It
than that
wasn't
here
tried in
in.
commercial court.
I can get a bigger mansion than that here in Texas for $24 million, bro.
That case was tried in a non-commercial court. Why?
Yeah. Did you also see the
Why?
the point of fact that
There was no victim.
he
The bankers,
claimed that
no issue.
he claimed that one of his his properties in New York was 11,000 square feet. He claimed it was 30,000 square feet for like 10 years, bro. Is that also someone else's fault?
That he claimed the size of it or whatever. I don't know what I've never seen that document.
You've never
I don't know
seen that
what
he
you're
claimed
talking
his
about.
apartment, his suite in New York was 11,000 square feet. He fudged it so hard that he said it was 30,000 square feet to increase its value as collateral and on a statement of finances. So yeah, he lied to banks, and the people are the victim.
Do you think all those cases are legit?
Okay,
That's
now
what
you're
you're
pointing
saying.
to all of them. Yes, every single one of them are legit.
Five
Yes.
cases, dude. There was 5 cases.
Yeah, I know all of them. All of them seem very legit. Yes.
No, they don't seem legit at all. They really don't.
It seems like you're backing out and grandstanding now that I'm telling you some of the details that are very damning.
You're telling me some random details you just randomly said like it's like.
Do you want me to prove it to you?
Sure.
I can prove the 11,000 square feet.
Go for it.
Trump organization. This is from the document itself. This is a court document. Boom.
Am I supposed to watch this live or something to see it?
Yeah, I'm showing you on the screen right now. And let's just pull up the one where it says 11,000. Let's do this. Okay, so Donald Trump's triplex apartment in Trump Tower, New York, valuations of this property were calculated using objectively false numbers. For example, the apartment was valued at 30,000 square feet when it was actually 10,996 square feet. As a result, 2015, the apartment was valued at $327 million, or $29,730 per square foot. That price was absurd given the fact that at one point the apartment in New York City had sold for $100 million at a price per square foot of less than $10,000, and that sale was a newly built ultra tall tower. The 30-year-old Trump Tower, the record sale at the time was merely $16.5 million, the price of less than $4,500 per square foot. Case in point, bro. Trump is a complete fraudster, lies about his finances all the time, and now he's a victim for it. Now he's a victim.
I mean, what? You had the DOJ, the top DOJ guy came down and started working with these guys and these other in New York with Bragg and all
Is
that.
Is that true or not? Did they have every right? Did they not find fraud right there in plain sight? Are you still coping? Like the who is what more important than you?
I never saw that once in that court case, so I don't know what you're talking about.
This is literally on page. This is on page 2.
Okay, the judges literally prevented any other information from coming out from the other side completely. The dude was literally gagged, wasn't allowed to talk about it. The FCC wasn't allowed to come through with any of their information.
You're talking about Trump's other case with Stormy Daniels. You're talking about the FCC with Stormy Daniels' case.
I'm talking about all these cases were very strange. They weren't just like, oh, hey,
I'm pinning you down on this case. You can't talk about another case when we're talking about this case. And the FCC coming to Trump's rescue is completely inappropriate. That's like me having a friend inside the police department and having him come testify in a murder trial in my defense, saying that I am not breaking the law. That is completely irrelevant and inappropriate. Nobody allows people to testify like that.
The FCC refused did not prosecute, and then all of a sudden the state decides to prosecute?
Gee, I wonder if Trump just had friends in the
Mm.
FCC.
Yeah, because he's just the biggest corrupt dude ever. Sure, that makes perfect.
Literally his circle of friends are all felons. Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, all of these people who are making decisions with Trump every day, they're all felons, and Trump has pardoned them.
They're all felons because they were wrongfully thrown into prison. Obviously, you become a felon if you're just thrown into prison.
Yeah,
You act like judges
they
can't be
don't,
corrupt. Are you
or
kidding
they
me?
don't respond to subpoenas made by Congress, or you're stealing money from an organization that was meant to collect money from you guys to build the wall. That's what fucking Steve Bannon did to become a felon, but you guys don't care.
He did what? What did he do?
He took money, he took donations. I believe it was $1 million from a fund that was supposed to put people's name on the stupid wall between US and Mexico. And he just took that money for personal reasons. $1 million.
Okay. I mean,
that was real. That's not made up.
What
if
is your
I did
point?
that, I would be in prison. You can't just say they're being persecuted wrongfully. These are real things that happen, man.
I was saying they're being targeted. I didn't say they're being persecuted. I didn't know every single person.
When you're very criminal, you get targeted by law enforcement. He left chat. All right. Tap the screen. Chat, if you enjoy these debates, give me a follow. All right, we're going to turn on the phone number again. Someone said you got to study it more on the court cases. I got to study it more? I do? I'm pretty sure I got all of that right. What's my time zone? Right now it's 7:37 p.m. Just doing it right. So you can come back around 6 p.m. tomorrow. Guys, you're welcome to call in and correct me on some of this information. But it's pretty damning. To be fair, no cases fell apart. Trump became president, became immune from being prosecuted. That's all that happened, guys, because you guys didn't look into this. You didn't care. You worried more about whether Kamala was black or not. You didn't care for the facts. Someone says China folded. Trump says China tariffs will come down substantially 7 days ago. China holds off on new stimulus, shows composure in the U.S. trade war. China is exhibiting end of regime conduct, experts warn. Kind of just folded in the trade war, but this is from gatestoneinstitute.org. There's no other. There's no news on this. I'll talk court cases. Request in the box. Yeah, China's come out themselves and said that they are not negotiating with Trump at all. They haven't negotiated at all. And whatever claims Trump has made that he's negotiating or talking with anyone with China is a lie. And when we asked we asked Trump when he talked to China, he obfuscated and started saying other stuff. He didn't answer. He's lying to y'all. It's sad you haven't figured this out yet. China's done with America. I agree. I just read it on Reuters. Hopefully I'm misunderstanding. $25 minutes ago, Lutnick touts first foreign trade deal. I wish this would scoot to the other side. Trump and his team aim to strike 90 trade deals in 90 days. That's not going to happen. Every single prediction has been proven to be wrong. Yannick Fearling, Electrolux CEO, told Reuters, I'm surprised people are still claiming they have the view where tariffs are going. Ugh. Yellow.
Hey, are you there?
Yeah. You want to talk about Trump's legal cases?
Yeah, I can hear people talking in the background though. Where's this coming from? Can you hear that?
No. Chat, can y'all?
Hold on.
Maybe you have a video playing on your phone?
Okay, there it went away. Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Doing good.
No, on these court cases, it's fine if you have an issue or you think Trump was guilty or whatever, but there's a lot of nuance that's being missed with some of these pieces. So, I'm not here to argue Trump down the line, but I think is a lot of nuance that's being missed in the way these court cases are being talked about.
What nuance am I missing?
Which case do you want to start with?
I don't care. I know a lot
Florida?
about. I know a lot about all of them. Yeah, we can talk about Florida.
Yeah, I mean, some of the issues with the Florida one is when the feds raided Mar-a-Lago, and they took pictures of the evidence. They mishandled the evidence and tampered with it. The judge called it out, and it was a big issue. So they laid out the evidence, and then they took pictures with classified cover sheets next to it, as if those pieces of evidence were classified a certain way as secret or top secret, which was not the case. The judge brought this.
Eileen Cannon.
Yeah, the judge reprimanded the federal side of it heavily about it because it caused a huge issue for the case as far as then having a clear, clean form of evidence. The other piece is the special prosecutor was unconstitutionally appointed. That was also came down from the
Yeah, I know.
judge.
That was total BS.
I'm not saying these are right or wrong. I'm just saying
That's
you
total
have a
BS.
judge.
We know, dude.
Well, you can say it's total BS, but a judge
Every other
who
judge on
runs
every other case did not come up with that same conclusion that Jack Smith was involved in, and she was also not a she was not a vetted judge. She had overseen like 4 criminal court cases before all of this, before somehow she was magically appointed a judge in the position she was in.
But that's not an argument. You can't just say she's not a judge, because the other side can say that about every liberal ruling as well. You could say that about Boaz.
They
Somehow
do say
Boaz is
that.
Matt. Yeah, exactly. You can say Boaz, who's had these recent court cases, somehow magically has had all of these court cases appear on his docket, and no one is quite sure how that's happening. So, like, you got to argue it from a
They're
proper
chosen at
place.
random sometimes, aren't they?
No, they aren't. No.
When they pick people,
And that just makes your argument even tougher. If they're chosen at random, how are these court cases that are going from lower courts up into the circuit courts and then eventually make the Supreme Court? How are these courts, specifically landing with Boaz multiple times? That's the question a lot of people are asking. So I'm not saying one side is pristine and the other side is not. Both sides have their issues, but you can't just say. I mean, I hear all day long one side is abusing the courts and we're in a judicial or constitutional crisis, but then your argument is, hey, that judge isn't official, or that judge isn't legit.
are chosen at random. So it was just
No.
by chance.
So I think at this point they filed like hundreds of injunctions against Trump. So just randomly, multiple of these injunctions have landed on that one judge's docket.
Well,
I'm
I
open
mean,
to it being yes,
there's
but
nothing
statistically that's
you can
unlikely.
there's nothing you could point to that was like an improperly handled injunction. There's just the complaint that these people are on the left or appointed by Obama or
Yeah.
something like that. There's nothing like obviously demanding that Trump give someone due process is within reason and very constitutional. If you do a 30-second Google search, you can see that's an obvious thing we need.
I'm not arguing that. I'm going back to your argument about the Florida case, where literally your argument
Trump
coming back was
handpicked
just,
Eileen
well,
Cannon.
that's not a legit judge.
Trump did appoint Eileen Cannon.
Yeah, but that's normal. That hundreds of judges are appointed by both parties when you have a president.
Trump has been crying about every one of the judges ever seeing his case, how they're biased and that their daughters or something donated $15 to Act Blue, and that makes them biased. Yet he appointed this judge, and we can see very clearly that she was not. She did not have the history or the experience to become the judge.
That's not an argument. That's not an argument for Trump, though. That's an argument for our judicial appointment process.
Okay, that's an argument showing that she was not qualified to make this insane thing, and she didn't really explain how Jack Smith was not duly appointed. She didn't really explain that.
But you're straying from the original argument. Your argument is that we might have an issue with how judges are appointed because Judge was able to appoint a judge. Trump was able to appoint a judge. It's not an issue with
how judges
are. Can I finish, or you stop interrupting? I'll let you talk, then you let me talk.
Go ahead.
Your argument now is that we might have an issue with how judges are appointed because Trump was able to appoint a judge who is not qualified. That's a separate argument. We can have that argument. That's totally fine. But specifically, if we're going to follow the courts, and that's all we're hearing right now from the left is judicial crisis. Trump isn't following the courts, blah, blah, blah. It's a judicial meltdown, constitutional crisis. Well, your argument here is that, okay, well, we have a judge, I guess, who wasn't appointed properly or who wasn't fit to be appointed, so we should just ignore the courts. Your argument is
no, I think we should.
You got to come back with a stronger argument than that.
We should scrutinize it, and there would definitely have been charges drawn up against Trump again if he didn't become president. That's the truth.
But some other district attorney in Florida would have to want to pick that up, and the way the feds handled the evidence the first time caused the case to become very murky, and it's likely someone probably wouldn't have wanted to pick that up.
I highly doubt it. Like
that's fine. You can opine about it, but that's different than facts.
You can
Go
too.
ahead. I'll stop talking.
And you can too. The thing is, we have so much data we have so much damning evidence against Trump, including the audio and including video of his people moving it, including him trying to flood his security room with his pool. all sorts of stuff. Them asking for this data and having subpoenas written by his lawyers saying that he promised that he didn't have them, and then having audio tapes of him showing it off. It's very damning. Withholding classified documents, whether or not you can say that something was mishandled.
Did they know? Did the federal government, did the national records or whatever, did they know what was in those boxes of documents?
I'm going to assume so. Yes, they're asking for very specific things.
They sent them to him. They requested multiple times that he take possession of these when he left office. Multiple times. They knew exactly what was in there.
No, what happened was
that one's easy to prove. I don't have a computer in front of me.
Yeah.
That one's very easy to prove.
Yeah,
they sent multiple requests to Trump to take ownership of these documents when he left office, and eventually, I think it was like the third or fourth request, he did take ownership of them. The way that the press published this or reported on it was that Trump had ran off with these documents and just basically stuffed them in his pocket and ran off to Mar-a-Lago and wouldn't give them back.
So
they
they're
had 100% accounting of what documents were there. Now, if Trump was being difficult in giving these back, one sec, I'll let you talk. If Trump was being difficult in giving these back, there might be some argument there. I think there were some issues where he didn't do himself any service with how he responded to these requests. But this idea that he just pocketed these documents and ran off to Mar-a-Lago is entirely incorrect. There was a full accounting of what these documents were by the national records that were sent to Mar-a-Lago.
I'm going to claim that your statement that NARA handed him and chased a private citizen down to make sure he had classified information on him is false and completely made up by you, unless you want to find me like a good source I can see
I'm
this.
not. That's not the point I'm making.
Okay,
I'll clear it up.
That's what I heard what you just said, but I have the opposite of what you're saying. What Trump had these documents in his office, and his staffers boxed this shit up and they put it in a van and they sent it to his home on his way out of the office. And this is very standard operating procedure, and this happens all the time. That's how Mike Pence had documents, that's how Biden had documents. And what happens is, if they ask you for these things back,
I don't know if that's how Pence and Biden had documents, to be honest with you. I'd have to look that up.
That is. And when they ask for these things back, that's when you get in trouble, when you don't return them.
Yeah,
that's when you're charged with withholding classified documents, not just having them, withholding them.
That's fine. Let's get on the same page as far as what we agree with. The point that I'm agreeing with you is that when these documents were requested to be returned, or there were some documents that needed to be returned, Trump definitely didn't do himself any favors with the way he responded to this, the way the documents were moved around, etc. There is some constitutional ambiguity as far as what declassifying looks like from a president, and whether that has to be written out or can be spoken. That's fine, different argument. But to clear up the first part, there's a documented multiple, I guess, pieces that document, and sorry if I don't remember the official agency, it's like the National Records Institution or National whatever of records, but basically these documents had stayed behind in Washington, and they had sent multiple requests, just standard, not like anything like take these documents, but just standard requests of, hey, we have these documents here, they're part of the Trump admin, they'll probably go in the National Library when you build one. Where do you want these to go? These need to go. There was a full accounting of the documents that were there. Anyway, you can respond to that. That's totally fine. But we're getting a little bit spun around.
This is. I don't think this is a thing that happens. Trump had 15 boxes of documents, classified material in his possession. NARA has been begging him for a year and a half before they finally knocked down his door and got him. And they did it quietly.
No, but you're talking about when they went to get him. I'm talking about how those documents got there.
Yeah, they even have pictures of him boxing them up outside the White House, in the front of the White House, boxing them up and taking him.
They were there for a few months after he'd already left office.
Can you see where I can find that? I've never heard of that.
I'd have to get on a computer, but it's pretty well documented that these, and I'll cede points where I need to cede them. I have no problem. I'm not like this. There's no ego in this.
I'm going to claim that you're making that part up.
Well, I'm not making it up. I could go look it up. I'm not on a computer. I'm on my phone. But there were multiple just administrative requests, just your typical administrative requests of, hey, we have these documents here. Where do you want them to go? Where do you want they're part of your admin. They'll probably go to the National Library. Where do you want them to go? There was an accounting of these documents in Washington before they were sent to Mar-a-Lago.
So
I don't know if that.
NARA
and honestly, I don't know if that makes any difference
NARA went through
in the legality of it.
NARA goes through boxes of classified information, and they say, okay, well, these are classified, but we're still trying to return them to Trump. That's what you're claiming?
No, no. There's the. I don't want to flip out of this window, or I'm just worried it's going to kick me out of. No, it's the national. What is NARA again? Dude? What's
National
it
Archives and
for?
Records Administration.
Yeah, so it might have been them. I think there's another one though, still that basically they are in charge of being like the archive of a presidential records, and they had these records left behind, and they had asked multiple times the Trump team where they wanted them to be sent. I don't know if this changes any of the argument that you're making or I am making. The only thing I am trying to better clear up is that this idea that Trump stuffed, you know, figuratively stuffed documents into his pocket and ran off to Mar-a-Lago with them. It didn't quite happen like that. These were
No, it happened like
transported.
I told you.
And how did it happen?
His staffers packed him up and sent it home with him. And think about the 4-hour window when presidents and their staff change places. That's what happened.
That's an insane. You think in the 4-hour window when they're changing power, they're boxing up these documents, getting out. These documents were moved to Mar-a-Lago like 2 or 3 months after Trump had already left office.
No, there's no evidence of that.
Are you still there? Sorry,
Yep.
I don't know if I can look it up. It's
For everybody else listening, the Presidential Records Act of 1978 is a U.S. federal law that establishes the legal ownership of presidential records by the United States government and mandates the National Archives and Records Administration manage and preserve these records, making them accessible to the public after a certain period, typically 5 years after the end of an administration. So basically, all of the things that Trump touches and writes during his administration, it is to be preserved. It can't be flushed down a toilet like he did. It can't be taken home and pinned on the wall. NARA handles it.
I don't know. I can't find the exact piece, but I don't know if it changes the argument at all or not. I mean, is he like, can he legally take those documents to Mar-a-Lago? I don't know.
So
Like,
again, like that's just the procedure of things. It's not illegal to just take them and accidentally have them because that's
okay.
not what he's charged with. He was charged with withholding them.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes back to the original point. There's still some judicial issues that caused problems on the case. And I mean, your only response was, and we can move to the other cases because I think we're probably at a stalemate on this. Your only response is that judge wasn't legitimate. I haven't heard a better
The reason
argument
it
than
was
just
dropped,
that
yes, was
judge wasn't legitimate.
the reason it was dropped was she said that Jack Smith was unduly appointed or
Yes.
unconstitutionally appointed, and that was just an arbitrary claim that she made. And Jack Smith was going to refile these charges. And sure, you want to talk about the case in D.C.?
Which case? What's the DC one again?
I'm gonna help you out, okay? So
I don't need help. Just
yeah,
give me a summary. You don't need to
I
talk all
no,
pretentious.
no.
Just give me a summary.
Let's do this
It's
though.
okay. I'll
Georgia,
do it. It's fine.
Georgia was the RICO case.
Yeah.
New York was the statement of finances, the fraud case. Florida was the documents case. Do you know what the DC case was?
Was the DC one the incitement of I can't remember the actual legal language. If you can refresh me, that'll be helpful. But then we can do it.
It wasn't insurrection. It was not people storming the Capitol.
Are we having a pop quiz, or do you just want to give me a summary so we
Yes,
can
I'm
talk
trying to
about
illustrate to the audience that a
Like,
lot of people don't really know anything about these cases.
I know a
was-
lot
he
about
was-
these cases, dude.
Okay.
The last case I got you to the point where your only argument was that judge wasn't appointed properly. If that's your argument,
No,
I won that one because
n-
that argument doesn't stand. There's no facts to that.
I'm saying
It
that there's a
came down
lot
to an
of damning
opinion.
evidence, and for it to be thrown out carelessly was silly.
That's the way you said that. A lot of damning evidence and thrown out carelessly was silly. There's a lot of
Yeah.
opinion in that. You got
Well,
to at least stick to the facts.
yeah,
All
I
I did
know,
was
and I have all the
just
facts.
propose the facts, and your only response to the facts was just simply, "Well, that judge wasn't appointed legitimately."
It's
That's not
disingenuous
how.
for
That's
you to
not a winning argument.
it's disingenuous for you to say that was my only opinion because I've been able to keep up with you on every turn and have more
Then
information than you, to be honest.
I don't think we're like having a measurement of who has the most information. Just if you have more information on the Florida case, share it, and we can keep talking about this. I'm fine if you prove me wrong. I have no issues. There's no ego here. But I pointed out what the legal issues were with the case, not my opinion, specifically what the legal issues were with the case and why it fell apart. And your response is like, oh well, it's just,
You're
there's a judge there who shouldn't be there. And, oh, by the
okay.
way, it would have been filed again. It's like, okay, sure, I
It
guess
it does
hypothetically, but
stand that she very inappropriately dismissed the case, and that is the opinion of many legal scholars. A lot of people have weighed
yeah,
in
but
on this, and that's not just a cop out. But let's talk about DC case. Do you
hold
know
on,
that?
I'll
Did you know?
answer that one, and we can shift to DC. The
Yeah.
argument there, I mean, do you know what happens in like a trial when they call in experts? Both the defense and the prosecution will call in a quote unquote expert. There's plenty of legal scholars, including probably the most well-known constitutional scholar, Alan Dershowitz, who said the appointment of Jack Smith was completely unconstitutional. So, like, if you want to line up experts and judicial experts, you can line them up on both sides of that as well. I mean, there was clearly what many thought was an unconstitutional appointment of a special investigator. That's not my opinion. That's just simply how the courts ruled. Now, do we believe in the courts or not? I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Trump sending fake slates of electors to 7 swing states. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, this one gets a lot more murky though, because there's also a precedent for Democrats doing that in previous elections back in like the 80s and the 70s. So
No,
I'm not going
you're
to get
talking about
super into
alternate
that
slates
one.
of electors. You're talking about alternate slates, not just
Yeah,
random people that the president chose or that Kenneth Chesebro chose and randomly
no,
sent to a state.
there's also an argument on both sides there of whether that's the legal process was followed, and many argue that there was plenty of precedent
It
to
would have
do
been
that.
nice for him to argue that in court, but what they argued, what Trump's lawyer argued, is that Trump is allowed to break the law.
Well, I mean, there is some presidential immunity allowed in that the Supreme Court ruled that. So that's not just Trump's opinion. That's backed by a Supreme Court
Yeah,
ruling
but it
that
seems as though he
provides
tried to steal the
presidential
election,
immunity.
and your argument is going to
It,
be that he should be
it
immune from
seems
prosecution.
no, I didn't say that. I'm once again I'm just quoting the legal standards, the legal precedents that have been established. Um, Yeah, I mean, and once again you're saying it seems like he tried. That's not a solid argument. That's a lot of your assumption being interwoven into that argument.
No, okay, let's talk about the actual facts then. We have 7 different states, 3 of which are still pushing felony charges on multiple people, and we have letters of ascertainment that were signed inappropriately, forged seals that were made, including Georgia's state seal, forged onto a document and sent to the legislatures of these states. And people like in Arizona, such as Rusty Bowers, had phone calls from Trump saying, "Hey, the election was stolen. I'll give you the details later, but go ahead and count these other electors, not the
Yeah,
duly
I'm
appointed
sorry.
ones."
And sorry, I'm not fully up on all of the quote unquote forged seals and stuff. So I'd love to argue that one. Honestly, I'm not as up on that. Um, on the I lost my train of thought on it. I was going to say something else about that. Um,
Yeah, so I mean, in my
sorry,
defense,
dude.
it's not just an assumption. It's not just that Trump was
Oh,
trying to
sorry.
delay
Yeah, I
the
remember what I was going to
certification of
say.
the election and pressure Mike Pence to use his fake slates of electors to certify the win in his favor in circumventing 81 million people's votes.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say. And sorry if I can't cite the legal precedent or the case that set this precedent. But there is a legal argument that if Trump truly believes that there is any sort of fraud, or if he truly believes that he has the votes, which once again, that would be a jury that would have to decide whether he's really believes that or if he's saying that to pressure people to commit certain, acts that help him, quote unquote, steal the election. But there is a legal standard for if you can prove that Trump actually believed that there's nothing illegal about that. He can have those conversations if he believes that.
That's a very sad situation for you to be an advocate for.
I'm
It's a
not an
very
advocate. No one said I'm an advocate. I'm simply
so.
choosing the other
Are you
side and making an
if
argument.
Joe Biden did this, would you be saying, listen, he had the right to do that?
Well, Biden stomped all over the courts.
How do you do that?
Well, one, I mean, our Supreme Court ruled that the paying back of student loans was unconstitutional, and Biden just came out right after and said, "We're not going to follow the Supreme Court. We're still moving forward with it."
That's not true. He rewrote the law in a way that
That
was
is
legal.
true.
No, he
When
rewrote the
Biden
way
was
he did
going
it.
out of office, he also just tweeted that he was adding an amendment. Even his own party was like, "Dude, what are you doing? You can't
An
just
amendment to
tweet
what?
add an amendment to the Constitution."
He addressed his student loans within the law. Yeah, it's true. He did it legally. That's why the courts couldn't stop him. So they stopped him multiple times, and then he redid it in a way that was legal. Just like you should. You shouldn't just be ignoring Supreme Court's orders and doing it anyway. That's not how he did it.
Party was like, dude, you can't just tweet an additional amendment. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Like,
What amendment
it
are
was
you
it was
talking about?
ignored.
Trump literally tweets that he wants to change and tear down the Constitution all the time.
But Trump, don't do that. Just acknowledge
I want to
that.
know what you're talking about so I can look it up and see if you're just exaggerating. I can't hear you while you're out of the app, by the way.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I can't read it because I have to switch screens out of the app. If you look it up, just Google Biden adds amendment via tweet or whatever, and you'll see his tweet there.
By Biden's official account draws mockery with reference to constitutional amendment that doesn't exist.
I
Today,
mean,
I'm
look
affirming,
at his own tweet. His own tweet
okay,
got community noted.
Today I'm affirming that what I long believed what 3/4 of the state have ratified. Oh my God, why are you doing this?
Read the community note on the tweet. I mean,
The 20th Amendment
even
is
his
the law
tweet
of the
got
land,
community noted.
guaranteeing all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex. Is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
The archivist of the United States charged with officially publishing ratified amendments to confirm that the ERA was not ratified, and based on the analysis of binding legal precedent, there is no 28th Amendment.
Do you see the issue? I'm simply just pointing
I think
out
it's
that
it's the 8th Amendment, isn't it? Or
you can take this off the stream after and do your homework, but he literally tried to tweet an amendment into existence, got community noted, and even his own party. I remember when it happened. Even his own party, his own like senators and congressmen had to answer for it, and they're like, we don't know what's going. Like, this is not constitutional. Like, you can't just tweet an amendment into existence.
I don't think he was trying to add an amendment. I think he was tweeting an amendment that he thought existed, right?
What? Sorry, 1 second. I'm grabbing a charger so my phone doesn't die. So stick with me 1 sec. I can't. And that's the problem with these debates, and I apologize. But sometimes they travel all over the place. So I think the question you asked was like,
oh, he's saying that they want to amend the Constitution. They said that okay, so 3/4 of the 3/4 of the states, or 2/3 of the states, is it 3/4 or 2/3, wanted to pass that amendment.
Well, that's not how it was received by everyone. I can tell you that, and I remember it.
Yeah, I don't think this is the gotcha you think it is, man.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a gotcha, but you wanted examples of Biden I think and that's why I was trying to bring it back to the original question was essentially was like, well, Trump is abusing the courts, and there's probably some good arguments there. I don't have an issue with that. I'm not one of these people that gets on the stream and is like Trump is like Saint Trump and he's like 100% perfect. There's plenty of things I can knock on Trump for.
The difference is Biden isn't going around trying to like exert power and do things like authoritatively and like questioning law theory. This was basically a tweet saying maybe women should have equal rights under the Constitution. This isn't something like Trump should be able to expel people from the country without due process. That's a little different. That's a dangerous power for one person to have in this nation. That's pretty crazy. So to liken that to this it's not the same.
This due process argument gets really murky, to be honest with you.
It really doesn't. It's a 30-second Google search. All people in the United States have due process.
Yeah, but I think if you if you expand that, there's language there that say people who are legally residing in the United States or are residing according to. I've looked at this, and there's some language around that. So once again,
this is not questionable. For the fact that you guys are searching for things and ways to take away people's due process is very terrifying.
No one is searching for things to take away people's due. Like you got to slow down on
You're searching for ways to justify this.
No,
justify
no,
Trump's actions. Yes, there is absolutely no world in which anybody should argue that certain people don't have due process. In a world where there is a type of person in the United States that does not have due process, none of us have due process, because guess what? If the government wants to name you one of those people, boom, you're gone. You're done.
There's clear differentiators between a citizen and a green card resident.
Yeah, just show them in court.
There are times where a green card resident can be afforded, like all of the rights of a citizen, but that's not wholly guaranteed. Our government can withdraw or remove green cards as they see fit.
That doesn't matter. When do you present your green card in court?
No, I'm simply saying.
Yeah,
I'd have to look that up, and once again, I wish I was on a computer. I know there's some language around that. It's not just blanket statement. Anybody that comes to the United States is due a full trial before they have to leave the United States. If they didn't enter
what is immigration court
legally
then? What do we have immigration court for then?
Dude, listen, I'm married to an immigrant. I've been through the immigration court. And you try to say these blanket statements where stuff is much more nuanced than what you're saying. That
it really isn't.
Yes, it is. Get an immigration attorney on here. I've worked for immigration law firms. Like
I can get
Rolo. There's a lot more
nuance. Someone wants to tag Rolo, they can.
Yeah, but there's a lot more nuance to a lot of this, and that's why this will be worked out in the courts. But the issue is you'll just get to a court and you'll just say that judge isn't legit. So yeah, it'll get worked out through the courts, but there's some strong legal arguments around if you are in the country illegally, that you aren't necessarily afforded.
All right.
Yes,
all individuals
full due process
without legal immigration status are generally protected by the U.S. Constitution, and then we can just look at this. What's the 14th Amendment?
Yes, generally. But the other thing is they've used the Alien Invasion Act or whatever to code many of these people as terrorist organizations. Once you apply that label on them, then legally that broadens what you're capable of doing. It's a lot more nuanced than what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. These are tricks.
You just want to. No, they're not tricks.
Yes, they are.
They're according to. No, they're following legal process, as is the other side. It'll work its way out in courts. But the problem is you get on here and you try to just argue everyone's afforded due process, and it's like, dude, it's not that clear cut. There's quite a bit of nuance to it. Is the person categorized as a gang member? Okay. Is that gang now categorized as a terrorist organization? Okay. All of those broaden and change legal, like what is possible legally. So
all right. I'm not going to let him yap and explain away people's rights wrongfully. Thank you for the $40 from Melinda for the kick. Much love, Melinda. Thank you so much. That is a reach. That is a cope. And yes, you have to you have to somehow justify Trump's taking away of people's rights to sleep at night, I guess, and that's what that looks like. There are 2 amendments that explicitly say all people, not all citizens, not all white people, not all people here legally. It says all people are afforded due process, all of them. There's no special type of people that don't get due process. You don't get to magically make someone the type of person that doesn't get due process. That's what Trump's claiming he can do. You don't get to raise questions and accuse people of being a T group person so that they don't get due process. That's not a thing. That's not the America I want to live in. I promise you that's not the America you want to live in. And again, if there's a certain type of person that doesn't get due process, you too could be that certain type of person and be sent away to CCOT. Nobody wants to live in a country like that. That is fucking terrifying, and for you to justify it is insane. SCOTUS ruled 9-0, yeah. Again, W. Melinda's in the chat. I'm going to turn off the phone because I have so many people requesting. So many people requesting in the box. Give me a second, guys. We'll get to the next caller. Don't forget to give me a follow if you enjoy these debates. Also, I have a Cash App and Venmo in the bio. If you guys are trying to support me, that's the best way to do it. Or become a subscriber. Nar, we had you up for 30 minutes. You're welcome to try to come back some other time. It'd have to be tomorrow or sometime after. All right, I turned off Google Voice. I'm also going to turn this thing off. Let's do it. Yeah, and that's what you have due process for, to determine if you're legal or illegal. Like, it's so wild to me. How do you not get it? How do you not get it? Guys, if you're friendly, please hop out of the box.
Hello?
Yellow?
Hey man, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you a Trump supporter?
So this is kind of where I'm at. My first time voting was this last election. And I live in the South, and so everyone around me voted for Trump. And so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna fall in line, and I voted for Trump. And now looking back on it, I regret it. I shouldn't have voted for him. Absolutely not. I mean, the guy is damn near a terrorist. I mean, he's a childish businessman with too much power and too much money in my eyes. And I can't stand him. After looking into his policies, I mean, they're just kind of buns. But my question for you, man, is so I'm a Christian. And a lot of people that I know who are Christian are very like, if you're a Christian, you have to be conservative. Would you say that's true?
I hear that a lot, but no, I don't think that's true. I'm not Christian. I'm an atheist, but what I would say is that I'm stealing this from Dean, if you know who Dean is on this app. But
I do. Dean Withers, yeah.
Yeah, so what he says is if you're trying to use religion to legislate, that's a very dangerous thing, because a lot of what religion does is incoherent and it's illogical and contradictory sometimes, and it also just depends on who is reading it and how they're interpreting it from the Bible or whatever holy book you have. So I think you should still embrace your religion. That's fine, but try to keep those two things separate, government and religion, because otherwise we get in trouble. And also we have people following Trump around. You can see how immoral he is, and he's claiming to be Christian. So I just don't trust it. I don't trust people using religion in politics. Just like I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I think it's gross.
No,
I think
100%.
you should be. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I mean, because I'm a Christian, and I will tell any single person, whenever I get into any talk with them about it. I mean, you can have your religion, you can have your faith, but you can't let that. That's not a crutch in any argument politically. That's not a crutch in anything that you believe in. Now, if that's a reason, that's one thing, but you can't just willingly throw that into something and think that this is like my one up in this argument. But I wanted to, because I think my thing too is, as a Christian, I believe that I'm supposed to love everybody the same. So that being, I'm not gonna love the rich white man more than I love an immigrant from, the South. And so I just didn't know, man. I've been trying to get into a debate for a little bit, just trying to get people's opinions on that, because I'm a pretty Christian guy, but I didn't know if I could, still have my faith and classify myself as a Democrat and not get targeted or have that contradict itself.
Yeah, and I guess I'm gonna steal this from Dean Withers again. But if all sins are equal in the eyes of God, um, you'd have a lot to explain with the different types of punishments for different types of laws we break, and we would be looking at doing either the death penalty for lying or a slap on the wrist for murder.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%, 100%. Well, hey, man, I'll let you go. I appreciate you, man. You're kind of running this. That last dude, man, I'm sorry, that dude was just yapping about nothing. I mean, that was just absolute nonsense. But you keep up the good work, man. Keep doing your thing, and I appreciate you answering my question.
Appreciate you, bro. All right. Yeah, that was base, chat. That was tight. That was tight. Yeah. YouTube chat is sad as fuck. Yeah, I know. Oof. We need Nar back? No. Nar, we do not. All right, this person's not coming back. Oh my god, chat. Guys, I just bought this new game. It's called Expedition 33. And I'm seeing everybody and their mothers fucking playing it right now. And I so badly want to play it. I so badly want to play it. Expedition 33. It looks so good. Guys, Peter says it's fantastic. Fuck. Have I tried Delta Force? No, I haven't. Oh, Yamna, what's up, boo? It's so good. God damn it. Okay, guys, what if I get on my alt account and stream it? I'm feeling like I'm running out of gas. I'm running out of gas on debates. Lauren says I'm in. What kind of game is it? It's turn-based RPG. Birdie says you bring him up, you have to bring me too. It was a hard week. They've been extra crate today. It's on Game Pass? Damn, dude. Extremely well written, gorgeous. The combat is a blast. Fuck. I haven't played the Oblivion remaster. I'm gonna show you guys my alts real quick. This is my alts. Boop, boop. It's dark_pickles. Also, if you just go to my link tree in my bio, if this will load, go to my link tree in my bio, it will be.
I don't even have to.
Love you, Johnny. Okay, it's at the very bottom. My backup TikTok. If you just click that link, it'll bring you to my backup account. We're almost at 20,000 followers there too, which kind of makes me feel like a badass. Kind of makes you feel like one of those badasses. And if you haven't followed this account, you're selfish. You're selfish. You know what? It'll be Game of the Year nominated 100%. Damn, dude. I followed you back up. Tic Tac, grats on your 10K, dude. Check out a game called South of Midnight. It's good. That makes me think of. It makes me think of The Office. Threat level midnight. You should play Avowed. I don't know. I was one of your first dark picklers. I love that. I want to play that game so bad. Okay. Guys. Oh. Guys. I'm gonna show you guys my guns real quick. And then I'm gonna sign off. Take a picture, chat. It'll last longer. I'm just playing. I'll see. He says those noodles. I'll see you guys on my alt account, chat. I love you. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.